January 27th, 2021. What's up, guys? We need to talk. I just uploaded a great video by Robert Kennedy about Gardasil and the fraud behind the Merck data. And of course, it instantly got flagged as false information. But the funny part about that is, and why you can see through these stupid fact checkers, is the opening statement of that video. Robert Kennedy says, if any of this information were false, Merck would sue me for slander. But that's not going to happen because it's not false. The truth is the best defense, right? So I love that they actually marked it as, the fact checkers marked it as false information, and the opening statement says, if any of this were false, I'd be sued for slander. And that hasn't happened. And that was published almost 2 years ago. So awesome point there. Now, we've been manipulated by propaganda forever. We, general world and society, for forever. And it's just become more and more of a powerful thing with the newspapers, television, which was huge for a long, long time. The internet just ramped it up like crazy. We're so susceptible. And then social media really gives them that much more power by kind of controlling algorithms of what we see and siloing us into different groups of influence and then pinning us against each other, right? Where the majority of people are actually defending fiction as truth. And those that are defending truth are being labeled as crazy conspiracy theorists. And then, of course, there are outlandish lies that are put out there associated with conspiracy so that they can easily word associate these people. Anti-vaxxers are like flat earthers, and do this association so that people automatically just go, oh yeah, those people are crazy. Okay, so learn how propaganda works. And it's getting very, very effective when it comes to promise of safety and protection. And I just want to highlight something that's going on here recently with Bill Gates. So the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has just published an article and in their annual letter and on LinkedIn. And so it talks about, I'm not going to read through this. You guys can go look it up. It says it's not too soon to start thinking about the next pandemic, which is something that he's talked about from the beginning of this one and even from years ago, talking about how we're not ready for pandemics. And this simulation, this real world simulation, was meant to be a disaster, right? To get Joe Public and Jane Public to buy into the fact that we're not ready. We need to do better. We need to do more. And that's exactly what it did. And, if you're paying attention to the data, you see through all of the lies that the PCR test is not a technology that's supposed to be used for diagnostic anything ever. And then, of course, they just say, oh, we're doing it anyway. Cases. Everyone, we have so many cases, mask. And that's just a piece of fear propaganda to keep you guys scared and buying into this lie. Okay. And then, as soon as they roll out the vaccine and start administering it and suppress reports of people being injured by this vaccine, the World Health Organization, the day that Joe Biden gets inaugurated as president, comes out and says, oh, you know what? PCR tests suck, and we're running way too many cycles. We're getting false positives like crazy. What we need to do is lower the cycle threshold, and then we actually have to add a clinical presentation or a symptom, presenting symptom for it to actually be classified as a case. And oh my gosh, cases sharply drop right after the vaccine is released. What a miracle. Oh, we're so dumb. Okay, they did this with polio as well. Anyway, it's all smoke and mirrors. So then they're going to talk about what needs to happen for us to be protected is we need some kind of global alert system, right? We now have the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness and Innovations, and they work so hard, and they're bringing so much to the table, but we need to do better. And what is better going to be? Oh, it's going to be this global alert system. What that means is, this was such a disaster, we need you to be scared of the next one, that you're going to be willing to give up all of your freedoms, all of your freedoms, medical freedoms, privacy freedoms, everything, because we need to be able to alert the world to the next pathogen, which there are trillions of pathogens out there, guys. All right, so then it's going to talk about how scenarios, right? You could be the first responder and nurses. Maybe you see more people coughing one day and you're going to find that that's a new pathogen, just putting out all this garbage. And then also they got to plant the idea that these simulations that they've run in the past that led up to this real world simulation called COVID-19 are important and necessary, right? So because so many people called out the Rockefellers' Operation Lockstep and Event 201, they're going to say, oh, running germ games is really important, just like military runs war games. Yeah, isn't that a coincidence that the day that the planes flew into the Twin Towers, military was running war games to confuse what was happening so that we didn't know if we should intervene right away or not. Anyway, it's all a bunch of propaganda crap. Okay, it's all meant to go in here and scare you and to help you in your mind justify the overreach of the state and the government and the world, and that we can be so scared of this world threat that we'll come under one world government and all work together to save us all. And it's all a bunch of crap. So let's quickly just watch this video. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. This is part of their propaganda. Here we go.
All want to return to the way things were before COVID-19. But there's one area where I hope we never go back. Our complacency about pandemics. We can get ahead of infectious disease outbreaks. By the next pandemic, I believe we can have what I call mega testing diagnostic platforms. They can be deployed quickly, cost very little, and test 20% of the entire population every week.
I'm just going to pause right there. We can get ahead of pandemics. That's actually true. We can, by living a healthy lifestyle. If everybody actually cared about the crap they put in their mouth and the stuff they put on their skin and the stuff we breathe in the air and actually tried to be healthy, we wouldn't even worry a second about infection. Okay, our bodies would be more than willing to, or more than prepared to handle that. And then, of course, it's going to be all about testing. We're going to do 20,000 tests a week. So anyway, let's continue.
So want to get treatments out far faster next time. One of the most promising is monoclonal antibodies. These manufactured antibodies grab onto the virus and disable it just like your immune system and can reduce death rates by as much.
This product that we want to sell you, that you don't need, it works just like your immune system. Which you already have. And if you take care of it, it can dismantle and silence this threat right away without you even knowing you're sick. Some people will get sick and have symptoms as the body adapts to these messages from the virus. But guess what? He just told you, you already have this within you innately, but we're going to sell it to you too.
Which is 80%. I also think that we'll develop new vaccines quickly. In large part due to this new mRNA platform. mRNA will become faster to develop, easier to store, and lower cost. That's a huge breakthrough. To stop future pandemics quickly, we need to be able to spot disease outbreaks as soon as they happen anywhere in the world. And that requires a global alert system. If there turns out to be some new infectious pathogen, then we need a group of infectious disease responders to spring into action.
Pay attention to the visuals they're using, guys. Oh, we have our medical professionals. They're the front line, and they're going to be the first ones to spot this type of threat. And then they bring out these people. It's like a military. They got the boats and the pop-up clinics and these people with the masks and the isolation, PPE, but like... so stupid. Are you scared yet? Because that's their goal.
Think of these as like pandemic firefighters. They're going to use their logistics, use their ability to build up capacity quickly. They're going to go wherever that problem is. Stopping the next pandemic will require a big investment. But I think of this as the best insurance policy the world could buy. You can read more about this in our annual letter.
No thanks. All right, so everybody thought that Event 201 was like so telling, but very few people have actually seen Johns Hopkins and many other groups got together and did the SPARS pandemic scenario. And honestly, it plays out word for word exactly what's happening with COVID right now. So this SPARS pandemic, you can go to Johns Hopkins. It's actually centerforhealthsecurity.org/our work, center projects, completed projects, SPARS pandemic scenario. So they're trying to say, oh, we need these germ games, war games. This is medical martial law that they're implementing. And this has been planned for a long, long time. But it's really interesting. People have shared this page around, but very few people have actually clicked into the book that they created. Now, this was done several years ago, October of 2017, okay? Now, you're going to want to, if you do go to this website, open the book and read the book. It's very, very telling, and everything is literally playing out exactly how they germ gamed, how they war gamed this out. You can look at the preface, the responses. So the SPARS outbreak begins, and then, oh, we might have a possible cure, and then a potential vaccine. So this would be like remdesivir, and then our mRNA vaccines. Oh, but users beware. You know, people are going to be sharing their experiences on the internet and on social media. How are we going to handle that? There's going to be a bunch of back and forth, and stuff's starting to go viral, but the grass may always be greener on the other side. We got to play each side against each other. And it's so interesting when you start scrolling through this and actually looking at how this was germ gamed out and how it's actually playing out in society today. And it is, for lack of a better term, playing out in lockstep to how it's been written, okay? So they talk about how the media is going to be putting out, oh, we have another death from the SPARS outbreak out there, and it's now the third one, and oh my gosh, everyone needs to be scared, and the PCR tests, we need to do more of them, and like all this scare tactics, and then updates by the CDC on social media and how it's going to be received, and it just continues to go on. If you take the time to look at this, I'm just going to bring it to your attention so that if you want to go look at it, you really should, and read through it. You can see that everything we're experiencing today was pre-planned, and whether you believe that the virus is made up, or if it's real, or if it was lab engineered, which I believe it was a genetically modified gain-of-function virus that was released and had, pretty powerful effects in the beginning, and then it quickly mutated because it was killing its host and mutated to a weaker version so that it could survive, and then it was no longer a threat. We already, it ran its course, and so they shifted from mortality to morbidity and started focusing on cases and running those PCRs at 40 cycles to get false positives and these massive case numbers so that people would buy into this fear. And then, of course, now that the vaccine's out, they've changed the rules. And literally, the vaccine comes out. The day that Biden's inaugurated, the World Health Organization says, oh, we've been doing testing all wrong. These PCR tests are almost 100% false positives. We need to lower the cycle threshold. 40 is way too many. 35 is way too many. We need to lower the cycle threshold. And we're going to now require a clinical symptom to be present for it to be counted as a case. And miraculously, cases drop sharply. And the vaccine's going to get all the credit, not the fact that they changed all the diagnostic criteria. What a freaking joke. So anyway, it even comes, they start showing just made up examples of how it's going to play out on social media and in the media in general. And this is a script. It's a script that's been written, and the mainstream media plays to this script, and they put out the news that they're told to put out by these corporate people that run the world. Okay? So, after the wonderful new drug, in this case, this made up fiction Calicovir drug, goes out, and all of a sudden people are having these awful side effects. A local child vomits immediately after taking the drug, and you wonder why. I will never give it to my child. Kid looked like he was going to Ralph after taking Calicovir. Got it on video. He passed out and passed out in his own puke. Oh my gosh. And they say, but don't worry, we need to give it to the kids anyway. So they push it on it anyway. He says, you got to do it anyway. Just like all these people are dying from the vaccine and having allergic reactions and having horrible seizures and having anaphylactic shocks. Got to do it anyway. And then they're going to play groups against each other on social media. I'm finally getting the SPARS. I'm finally getting over SPARS thanks to my VMAX vaccine. I felt better in hours. Or maybe it was a new drug, VMAX. I don't remember. You can go through and read this. And then, VMAX is useless. I'm still sick with SPARS. Plus now I'm having unthinkable things going on in the toilet. And it's just so dumb. Like, being this far into this scripted joke, and then to go back and look at this crap, and people will go, oh, but that's because they're preparing and it's foresight and it's so wonderful. No. This was planned. This is a tool of control, and it's unreal. It's unthinkable that people would do this. We are not valued lives, okay? We're either producers or we're useless eaters, and they want us out of here. And so you guys should go read through this. It's really, really interesting. I'm not going to take you through it all. I'm just kind of scrolling quickly anyway. So it's insane. Don't believe the crap that the mainstream media is putting out there. Don't believe reality, okay? I follow, COVID-19 vaccine reactions, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them where they're like, oh my gosh, our entire staff is out. Hospital staffs are out because of this vaccine, and some people have died. Actually, there's hundreds and hundreds of deaths that have been reported already by the vaccine. And people are going, oh my gosh, I feel so horrible after taking the vaccine. My limbs are swollen and turning black, and I've lost sensation, and I'm having spasms, all this stuff. But at least I didn't get COVID. So here we are, where the world's been exposed to this for over a year. They've been fine up until this point, but they're so scared that they take the vaccine, have a horrible reaction, and go, oh, I'm so glad I had that reaction and not COVID. Duh. Come on, guys. Anyway, get out there and do your own research. Stop fearing your own biology. Stop fearing nature. Take care of yourself. Take care of your body. It'll take care of you. Do your research. This is all a game. It's all scripted out. It's all propaganda. It's all tools to control you. And it works all too well on the whole world. On the whole world. So, anyway, you can think I'm crazy all you want, but I'm not afraid, and that's a big deal. All right, guys, love you.